Hello, everyone. This is Nidal Haikal, your host for today. My guest so far, he didn't, he's not able to join so far. We will wait for him a little bit. And I'm going to talk to you about my guest. He masters unleashing the creativity, taking your brand and content to the next level. With a proven strategy, he can help you win clients and build a leading brand on social media. He holds a bachelor's degree in communication and media studies. I hope he will be able to join. My guest for today is Alex B. Schreiden, and we always he's on.
What's happening?
My friend Alex, how you doing?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, I just started. I was introducing you. I'm glad you are with us today, Alex. I'm so proud, and it means a lot. You trusted me to be with us today. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, man. Really well. How about yourself?
Great. I'm great. I'm great.
My audio good?
Yes.
Awesome. So I just got a new mic, so I'm making sure it's set up. I'll plug in my earpods just so I'm good from a speaker standpoint. So things are good?
Are you joining alone, or you are joining with the three twins you have?
Yeah, they may pop in at any point. You never know.
I hear you well, and I see you perfectly.
Okay, good. Whoops, hold on one second.
Take your time.
Okay, I am set, dude. I am set. Good to go.
So I was telling the audience that my guest for today masters unleashing the creativity, taking the brand or the content to the next level. And you have a proven strategy how to help someone to gain more and win more clients and build a leading brand on social media. Alex, I know you hold a bachelor's in communication, communication and media studies. And from a professional perspective, how do you think these days the social media is powerful?
Well, it's powerful in a lot of ways. And first of all, my degree did absolutely nothing for me. So I just want to clarify that. For me personally, it was a corporate communications degree, and I just didn't feel like it set me up for success. And certainly when I got into the corporate world, I felt like I learned probably more in 6 months working at the actual job than I did in 4 years of school. But again, that was my experience, right? That was my experience and what I went through. And then I certainly probably could have made more of it, I'm sure. From a social media standpoint, I mean, it's kind of a broad question, but I would say two sides. I mean, one, if you're an employee or a job seeker, hopping on a place like LinkedIn and building your personal brand, putting out content, connecting with other people of companies that you might want to work for, or hiring managers, building relationships, that obviously can mean the world of a difference when it comes to finding a job or getting connected in the right company. So it's big time. Secondly, from a business standpoint, maybe you're a sales rep or you're a founder of a company or you're an entrepreneur, whatever it might be, a business executive, the opportunity that you have to get on LinkedIn and social media and build your brand or your company brand, your personal brand, both, and win clients, use things in LinkedIn like social selling, like Sales Navigator, that are extremely powerful tools that you can use to find your target customers, engage with them, connect with them, send them messages, and then create content that they want to consume so that your customers come to you. And so I think we've, especially once COVID hit, everything went more digital like overnight. It was happening anyways. It was going to happen, right? We were moving towards the digital era, the digital age anyways, but COVID just expedited everything. So if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, a sales rep, whatever you do, if you're trying to win business and build a brand and you're not capitalizing on social media, you are going to have to change that, or you may not be in business at some point.
Great. So your degree didn't help you with what you are doing now.
No.
And you joined LinkedIn back in 2019, and within 6 months, you was able to generate income. And you quitted your job. You started your own business. Is this scenario, Alex? Is it for everyone?
Is what for everyone?
Is this scenario like we can achieve from being on a platform like LinkedIn to the point that we can start our own business, or it needs, rather than the opportunity that the platform holds itself, we need our creativity and we need something different to differentiate ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that is it for everyone in terms of using LinkedIn to leave your full-time job and start a side business? Of course not, right? There's some people that for them, they're much happier being an employee at a company and taking on way less burden and responsibility and risk that comes with being a full-time business owner. And you own the company, you own the risk. It's all on your shoulders. It's a lot for some people, right? I personally love it. And for me, it's an opportunity to unleash my creative and build something from scratch, make an impact on others. I enjoy the responsibility that's on my shoulders that I feel for this business to make sure it's successful. And it also depends on, so it depends on what you want, what's going to make you happy. But that's why I said, even as an employee, even as somebody that's working for a company, for other founders or business owners, it's still important for you to build that personal brand on social media. It's still important for you to put out content, to know how to social sell. Because you're either in a place where you're probably recruiting people and you want other people to join the company, or maybe you're trying to find clients, or maybe you're trying to find a job at some point or move companies. Either way, there's so many ways that it can benefit you. But yeah, I don't think it's for everyone, because there's a lot of context that comes into play too, where it's like, are people willing to put in the work to create their own business, leave their full-time job, and now do this? Like, it was a lot of work to do that in 6 months. I sacrificed a ton. And so it depends on the person, depends on what you want, depends on, the kind of the context of the situation.
But was you confident you're gonna make it?
Yes. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. And let me tell you this, because it wasn't like an arrogance thing. It wasn't like I know I'm going to make it regardless because I just, I think I'm the greatest. It wasn't that. I had a lot of doubt. I had a lot of times, and I still do, where I was like, hey, am I going the right direction? Am I going the right path? Am I doing the right things? Is this where I want to take the business? And I doubted certain things that I was doing. Is this the right piece of content? I think it's very normal to have doubt with yourself and what you're doing. But what I didn't doubt was the fact that I was going to figure it out, that I was going to put in the work. I was going to make the sacrifices. I was going to do what it takes. I was going to get knocked down, but I was going to get right back up and keep going. And that's the difference in my mind between self-doubt, doubting yourself, versus doubting the situation or some of the things that you're doing or the direction. I think there's a big difference between self-doubt and doubt.
Exactly. Alex, let's imagine this scenario. I start my account on LinkedIn, and then what should I do?
Well, it depends what you want to accomplish. What would you want to accomplish?
Let's say I want to build my personal brand. I want to inspire others. I want to, make a difference. How do we start?
So if you want to, if your number one goal, I mean, if you're, let's assume that maybe you're an employee at a company. Is that fair to assume? Yeah. But you want to make a difference. Maybe you want to start a side hustle or kind of a side project. The first and foremost, you need to figure out, once you get past hey, what are the goals? What am I trying to accomplish? What are the outcomes that I'm looking for at some point? Once you get past that, because you got to start with kind of the why. Why are you doing it in the first place, right? You need to know the purpose behind it and really the mission. Once you get behind that or past that, then you need to determine who are the people that I'm going to go out and make this impact on. Because if I'm so broad that I'm like, I just want to help anyone, like you're going to probably end up helping very little people. So you got to dive in and figure out what type of community do I want to build, and who do I want in that community? Because when you put out content, you're going to repel certain people and you're going to attract a lot of people too. And that's just normal, right? So you want to think about who is the target audience, who is the community, and how am I going to impact them? How am I going to make them feel? And you need to consider your brand. What is the brand? What does it mean to work with you or to communicate with you or to be in that community? Those are all things that you need to consider. Then once you get past that, you get into more of the tactical type things, which is like, okay, now let's set up my profile to make sure that it reflects the things that I'm trying to do, the community that I'm trying to build, the business that I'm trying to start, whatever it might be. So that's really where you start. Then you get into, okay, now how do we create content that's going to draw these people in, that's going to build that community, that's going to get people to take action. And that could be, you know, to have conversations with you. It could be to drive them to a destination, a group that you've created. It could be to drive them to become customers. It could be a lot of different things, but that's kind of maybe the 3 or 4 step process that you'd start with.
Alex, I know you are on more than one platform: LinkedIn, Insta, TikTok, and YouTube. Which platform do you see the more potential for you? And how do you manage it? Do you have a team to keep the flow on the 4 platforms? Because me personally, I'm still solo. I find it hard. I just, you know,
it is.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn and YouTube, and recently I started on YouTube. It's really hard to keep, you know, following and to show the respect whoever engage with your content, you know, to reply. And at the same talking, I'm not doing this full time. It's not my job. It's not what brings me, you know, money to live, you know.
Right.
I know you have more time to that, and we will go later to your production, which is amazing. But which platform do you think it has more potential?
Well, definitely, I'll speak for most people. Like if you're starting off and you've got a business, or you're trying to build a personal brand, trying to make an impact, LinkedIn is unique because for most people, your audience, the customers, the business folks, they're there. And if they're not there, they're showing up by the day. You know, there's more and more people showing up to LinkedIn every single day. Yeah. I always said 2021 is going to be a year that like LinkedIn really takes off and starts to become more of a mainstream type platform. And I think we're seeing that. But LinkedIn's unique because you have organic growth still. So meaning that you could have no followers, no connections, and you could start on LinkedIn and you could post content, and you've got to engage with other people too. You've got to really build a community. But if you did it the right way, you could grow relatively quickly, and your posts would get seen by, you know, potentially definitely hundreds, but potentially thousands of people without having some massive following, right? When I left my full-time job and started this business, I had, I think, maybe 5,000 followers. Like it wasn't nothing crazy. So versus if I got on Facebook, or if I got on YouTube, or if I got on Instagram right now and I started posting, you need a really good strategy first and foremost. But things like Instagram and Facebook have become so pay to play that the organic reach, there just really isn't much of it, right? So if I post a video on Instagram, it's going to get like less than 100 views, right? A video on LinkedIn it'd be thousands for sure, right? Every time. So, you know, I built up more of a following on LinkedIn, but it doesn't matter. I started on Instagram before I even got on LinkedIn. And when I moved to LinkedIn, I was like, I didn't see success right away. But after a few months of posting, I was like, the organic reach is much better here. So I think for that reason, you've got to consider, where is your audience? You know, if none of them are on LinkedIn and they're all over TikTok because you've got a younger demographic and that's what they're into, then you probably should look at TikTok as part of your strategy, right? But if a lot of your customers are already on LinkedIn and you've got the organic growth going there for you, you've got the organic reach, then it's a pretty darn good place to start. Now, when it comes to managing the different platforms, like, you know, people will be like, Alex, how many different platforms should I be on? Because I'm one person. I can't manage 4 or 5 different platforms. And you shouldn't try to do that, right? So my recommendation is this: you need to go deep on the ones that you really feel like will work for you. So where are your customers at? And hopefully where there's some organic reach at, go deep on that 1 to 2 platforms. You need to build a community. You got to engage with other people. You can't just post. So if that's maybe LinkedIn, and then maybe it's YouTube, or LinkedIn and maybe it's Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever it is, and focus on that 1 or 2 apps, build up an audience, and then and have a presence on the other ones, right? So, you know, if you're on, you know, get a YouTube account if you do a lot of videos, even if you're not going to be super active. I'm not incredibly active on there, but I've got enough videos. I do a vlog. I post every now and then. I've got a banner. Have a presence on there. And then what you do is when you start building up that audience, let's say on LinkedIn, or maybe it's TikTok, or maybe it's Clubhouse, once you start building up the audience, you start converting them to other places. You start moving them and trickling those fans or those followers, those people that consume your content and like your stuff. You start to show them that, hey, I'm also on this platform. Follow me here, Join my newsletter. I put out content every week. Check out my website. I have content, so you start moving people to other places so that you're not overly leveraged in one platform. LinkedIn's going to be around for a while. I don't think anyone thinks it's going to go away in the next 3 to 6 months, right? But eventually things will change. The organic reach will drop. Yeah, things will change eventually. So if you put all your eggs in one basket, a year, 2, 3, 4 years from now, you're going to be in trouble, right? So you need to be able to transfer that attention to other places as you build.
So we can say that it's not essential, but it helps, right? To be on more than one social media platform.
Yes. Yeah. And it's really about transferring attention in that community from place to place, right? So I even think getting off social media, one thing I've been big about recently is building out the video newsletter, getting my website updated, throwing content on there, creating a community outside of any social media platforms. What I've just created now for newer business owners to help them grow their business to 10K plus a month. It's on a completely different non-social media sort of software system that's not dependent on an algorithm. It's not dependent on if it's popular or not. I build this community here and we're a community. Wherever we go from there, it could be anywhere. It could be LinkedIn, it could be YouTube, TikTok. But yes, you've got to build audience up. You've got to start somewhere, right? So LinkedIn's a great place to start. TikTok could be a great place to start, whether it's YouTube, wherever it is. Build up an audience. And they're showing them that, hey, I've got more. If you like this content, you'd also love that I'm posting things on here and I'm doing things on here. And you should check out my newsletter, so that's sort of the name of the game when it comes to social media.
The weird thing, Alex, is the social media scene. It's like as if, you can imagine it. Imagine one of the sidewalks in the big cities like New York City. If you are looking from up, you will see a flow of people, right? And this flow, you see people joining this flow. And by the end, at a certain point, let's say a subway station, it's distracted and everyone goes to his destination. This example, it shows a little bit how it's going on social media. Like you see people, show up for a while and then, they disappear. And I think here I want to come to your webpage, impactsys.com.
Yeah.
And it's basically a marketing webpage, correct?
Yeah, it's for my company, Impacts Marketing. Yeah, we actually just redid it. So if you visited today, you visited the most updated version.
Yeah, I visited yesterday, and it's nice, simple, and it's so directed. And this is what I loved about it. Alex, you want from your business to build brands and help, win clients. How do you do that?
How you build your brand or win clients, or both?
Is it different?
Well,
it's not a result. Like
it's not the same thing, but it's a little bit of a. There's definitely a strong correlation, right? Like you need to have you don't need a brand to necessarily win clients, but if you want to build a business and win clients long term and really exceed your goals, you're going to have a brand, right? Because a brand makes you distinguishable. A brand makes you show up differently than everyone else. I mean, think about Apple. What do you think of when you think of Apple? What comes to mind?
Controlling the world.
All right, from a product standpoint.
It's very, very convenient, and it's really a brand. Like no matter they throw up in the market, I have to check it in, and if it's affordable for me, I'll get it. No doubt, like I trust the product.
Right. They've built a brand, right? So when you think of Apple, you think simplicity, which is kind of what you're talking about. They're not trying to throw a million different things to make it look pretty. They're like, let's make this simple and very easy to use and effective. They also are leaders in innovation. So you're not going to be able to buy a $200 Apple computer. They just don't do that. They just won't ship something like that out their door. So they believe in quality construction and quality, everything. So when you think of Apple, you get a brand. When you think of Tesla, you think of innovation, thinking ahead, the planet, like busting out of the traditional molds that we've been in for a long time. Like, so building the brand helps you stand out from everyone else in your industry. and it helps associate you or your company with a thought, with an idea. The brand is like the soul of a company. I've heard that before, but I think that's a good way to describe it. It's really who you are. It's what you stand for. It's the values. It's, you know, how you show up day in and day out. It's much more than just a logo or a website, right? The brand is something that you live every single day. So that naturally, that helps you bring in people, and it helps you keep the attention and keep the audience and keep the customers. It's also a retention tool, because the next time you come out with something, they're like, oh, I know Alex and Impacts Marketing, they always have good stuff. I know Apple, they always have good stuff, right? So it keeps customers coming to you. It also retains people and builds brand loyalty over time. But the other side of it is winning customers. There's also the outreach strategy, which, let's say you had no brand and you're brand new and you had a good product or service. I could teach someone how to use Sales Navigator and LinkedIn and go find people, connect with them, and engage in a personalized way, set up meetings with them, convert those meetings to customers. You don't necessarily need some big brand to do that. You just need the right strategy, but you're building brand as you interact with people too, right? The way you talk to people, the way you interact, the way you sell, all that stuff is still part of the brand.
Great. Alex, we have Natalie Issa.
I see that.
She was with me live last week, and she is a life coach and image consultant. She's and the good news, she's recovering from the COVID, and I'm happy for that.
Yes.
She's asking, what's the frequency for video posts per week? I assume you get this question like a lot.
Yeah, there's no like cookie cutter or one right. There's not like I can say like, all right, 3 times a week. You know, it depends on again what you're trying to accomplish. It depends on your brand. It depends on you as a content creator. If you're amazing on video, you might want to do 3 videos a week. If you're really not great at video and it's not one of your strengths, and again, this can be worked on. It's a skill that you need to build, obviously, either way. But if you're a really strong writer or designer or something like that, then I would leverage that a little bit more than I would video. But certainly you need a video strategy, because if you're not being seen to your audience, it's much harder for them to connect with you, right? So if you're not at least putting out a video once a week or once every 2 weeks, so people can see you and get a feel for your personality and your style and how you communicate. Like someone watching this right now, they're going to get a feel for how I am a little bit, right? They're not going to know everything, and there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that they don't know, but they're going to get a feel for me and you, right? Because they've seen us interact now. They see how we answer questions. They just see the type of value that we talk about. Whereas if we were just emailing and sending text messages back and forth, and they just had to read that, it's really hard to get a read on how somebody really is and what they would be like to work with. And that's what we want to prove to people, is that, hey, I'm someone that you'd want to work with, or I'm someone that you'd want to hire or do business with or build a relationship with. So video is really power. It evokes those emotional type draws that we get from seeing. We use our senses. We get to see it. We get to hear it. We get to feel it, you know? And so that's the power of video. But I mean, no, there's no set limit or set frequency that you need to say, I have to do 3 videos. I have to do 4. I have to do 2. I myself typically I do a lot of different posts, but this is my flow, if you want to know, if it helps. Monday, I do my creative videos with the green screens, a little bit higher production, right? Mm-hmm. It's telling a story. There's a message behind it. There's typically some humor and some acting in it. That's Monday. Tuesday is a LinkedIn Live. Wednesday is a interview style video. So I may take a piece or 2 or a few pieces of this interview. I'll chop it up, have my editing team put titles on it, subtitles, all that stuff. That'll just be an interview clip, right? A minute-long clip from an interview that's providing value to my target audience. Thursday, I'll do a text post. Again, something valuable for my audience. And then Friday, like today, I do like a selfie video that requires basically no editing. But there's a story, there's a message in it. So I'm doing, 3 video posts typically a week, 1 text, and then 1 live.
And it looks you relies on videos more, right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, video is very much a part of the present and the future of social media and how we communicate, especially being more in a digital world that we're now in. I mean, how many Zoom calls have we been on in the last year that we just would have never been on before, right? Like, so being comfortable on video and learning the skill of how to make a good video and how to show up on camera is really a skill that everyone should work on to a certain extent, right? To get certainly a certain threshold of just like, I'm pretty good for where I'm at. Doesn't mean I need to be the best ever, but it means I need to know how to show up on video, because we all just have to do it. It's just a reality. And so I think it's important for that reason.
Alex, I didn't get the chance. Are we limited by the 30 minutes? Because, to manage what I'm going to ask you. Uh, we,
We could go like 5 or 10 minutes over.
okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, we're fine.
I want to continue your business through your webpage. Do you have like a course or leads for everyone, or it's customized? Depends on the business and on the client. So, how do you address your business?
You're welcome, Natalie. I just responded to her. There's three things, and I just recently started a new business. You are welcome. Thanks for the question. Appreciate that. It's a great question. There's three different things that I offer for my impacts marketing business, and I'm branching out now and teaching coaches, entrepreneurs, small business owners, founders how to scale to 10K a month in revenue plus. That's something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm showing people the framework that I use to get there and how they can implement it in their own business. That's the other business. But the impacts marketing business that you asked about, there's three different things that I offer. One is just a straight up online course. If you want to learn it, it does not cost as much. It's a lower investment, but you go through it yourself, and there's 40 different video modules, and you can learn step by step exactly what to do in terms of how to build a brand and create content that wins you customers on LinkedIn, the social selling aspect, how to connect, engage, send messages, all that stuff's in there. But there's no touch points, right? So it's very much, you got to go through it on your own. And if you run through some challenges, I'm not there to walk you through. So it's got to be the right kind of person to go through that. The second kind, and the kind that I've found the most success in, and the one that really people talk a lot about and that have the most, I think that the greatest experience in, is the LinkedIn Video Social Selling Bootcamp, where not only do you have the video modules and it's interactive, but we do weekly live shows, right? Where I'm on there every week for an hour, delivering value, answering questions, getting involved in the community. You get 4 one-on-one sessions with me. So at the end of the certain modules, you book a call with me and I get to talk to you about, okay, here's what you did right. Here's what you want to think about changing. There's more touch points. And then we have a week, and then we have a group. What's that?
You personally handle those?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yep. And then we have a group that I'm in at least once or twice a day, where it's all of us who have either been through the boot camp or going through it now, and we're communicating in there. So we're talking about giving each other feedback, holding each other accountable. We're talking about what works, what's not working, sharing wins with each other. It's just a really solid community that you're a part of versus just an online program. That is what has gotten 99.9% of my clients the best results, because it's just, you're not just doing an online program, you're part of a community that's helping you move forward. And there's a lot of hand holding along the way, which people just need. If you've never, really built something like this before, you need to ask somebody, and you need to get help from people that are proven, that have already done it before you. So that's that. And then the third one is the content marketing / branding consulting. That's where I come in. That's going to be the highest investment. That's where I come in. We spend a lot of one-on-one time together. And I literally come in and help you develop your brand strategy. I help you develop your content strategy. I walk through your profile. We make the changes together. We develop your social selling strategy together, your messaging, your scripting. We can script out videos together. I help you hire a video editor if you want to outsource. So It's very much me and my time, but that's why it's the highest investment.
Do I get a discount, Alex, if I want to be a join?
Well, let's talk, man. I'm happy to talk.
It's recorded. It's recorded.
Yeah. One of the things that I believe in too is that, and I think all business owners and salespeople should think about is how do you not do a discount, but how do you add more value, right? So instead of saying, hey, can you give me a discount? Can I get you in at a similar price point, but can I give you more value for maybe, driving exposure, maybe for referring people in, something like that. And that's something that I believe in.
When it comes to value, there is no price. No matter what,
exactly. I mean, I look at it like, yeah.
And here, I just want to send a shout out to your partners, Matt Wells and Jared Jarir, who it's like the 3 LinkedIners. You're always there, and it's amazing how you created this, vibes going out there. Is there a friendship or?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, we talk every single day.
Because I have the feeling that you just came, from outside, from having a couple drinks, and you are out there hanging out with us. It's so simple, and that's what matters. Because my next question is about Alex and the content. And can you tell us about the 3C rule you have created?
The 3 C's of content?
Yes.
I'm trying to go back. I think I had a video on that, and I'm trying to go back to even what the acronym even stands for.
It's consistency.
Yeah.
And, client
focused and what creative.
Yeah.
And creative. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's 3 big components. I don't always phrase it the exact same way, but I think in that video I mentioned the 3 C's because it just made it easier to teach it that day. Yeah. But yeah, if you break it down into how do you create a successful content strategy, or how do you put out content that actually works for you and generates business and builds a brand, you have to have those 3 components, right? So the first one is consistency, where you can't put out content for 2 months, expect miracles, and then nothing happens, and then you quit. Or like you talked about earlier, there's certain people that you see that pop on, they get hot for a little while, and then they disappear, because it's not easy to create good content over the course of time, 6, 12 months, 2 years, 3, it does take a lot of work, but it pays off. It's so much worth it, So the consistency has to be there. It doesn't mean you need to post every day. It means you need to show up consistently every week. So whether that's 2 or 3 posts a week, I was doing that for a long time and that worked for me. Now I'm doing 4 or 5, and so it's just about consistently showing up every single week. And it's about making progress, not perfection. And then we get to the client focused. It's got to be customer focused. If you're putting out content that's cool to you, but doesn't really matter to your customers, it's not really going to land with them. So it's got to be stuff that they want to consume, that matters to them, that can help them, that can entertain them, that can motivate them, whatever it might be. And the last one is it's got to have some type of creative element to it. Exactly. And it doesn't need to be like mine or somebody else's or Matt's or whoever's. It just needs to mean that by creative, I mean, you've got to hook people in the first couple lines if you're doing text. It can't be like, oh, I was on a podcast today and I had a really good time. No one cares, right? No. You got to jump out and say, hey, if you're feeling like this, there's probably 3 things that you need to consider. Or, hey, here's why your content's not converting to customers. That's going to grab someone's attention, right? So you've got to be able to hook people in. The same with the video, the first 3 to 5 seconds. I literally got up a call before this. I played a video 5 seconds in for somebody. And they were like, what feedback do you have for my videos? I played it 5 seconds. I stopped it. I said, you tell me, would you want to keep watching this video? Was there something that hooked you into this video? And they were like, wow, okay, I get it. Yeah, no, there definitely wasn't, And so I'm like, that's okay. We're learning, right? We're making progress, but you got to think about that. There's got to be some type of draw or hook to get people to want to keep consuming. This is a feed-based platform, meaning that people are scrolling through a feed. It's not YouTube. They're not searching for your video. They're scrolling through a feed. And if you don't stop them and engage them, how would you ever expect them to consume the entire piece of content? And so if they're not consuming it and they're not liking and engaging, that means it's not going to get pushed out to other people. So you're going to have this snowball effect where it's just not going to do very well. So when you combine those 3 and you do it over time, that's when the magic happens. Yeah.
Amazing. My last question is about your invention, stand-up comedy on LinkedIn. I adore stand-up comedy, and I think one day I'm gonna, do it. I don't know how. And despite what my wife says that I'm not funny, I want to do it one day. Can you tell us about this idea? How did you come up with the stand-up comedy? And it's not just comedy. You are hitting other platforms. I think there is a arrest warrant from Clubhouse to you.
Yeah, it's funny. And what's crazy is I'm going to film the 8th edition of the LinkedIn Stand-Up Comedian. I'll probably film it next week, and then it'll be posted in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, that's long. I thought it's going to be, next week.
No, I thought about it, but I filmed 2 videos. One of them was a different video that's not going to be this coming Monday, but the following Monday. The LinkedIn Stand-Up Comedian is going to be 1 week after that. So I wanted to add some things into the LinkedIn Stand-Up Comedian for this one that are going to make it even better. So it is probably 3 weeks out? Yeah, about 3 weeks from this Monday. Yeah. But yeah, it's the 8th one, which is insane. I mean, I came up with the concept. I think it was maybe, I don't know the exact date, but it's probably like March or April maybe of 2020. It's probably coming close to a year maybe. And I just thought, there's so many silly things that happen on LinkedIn, like just in any platform, not just LinkedIn, and really anywhere in general, right? You could take any situation, ice cream shop, a restaurant, a corporate business, anywhere. There's going to be silly things that we all know are kind of silly. And we all and that's what makes comedy so funny, is when it's like real stuff that you're like, oh my gosh, that happens all the time. There's so much truth to that. All I'm doing is I'm exposing truth, and I'm just throwing a little touch of exaggeration. And when you do that, it's still professional, right? I'm not being disrespectful. I'm being professional, but it's just bringing to light the things that everyone's thinking anyways. It's on everyone's mind, which means from a marketing standpoint, smart, because I know that it's going to resonate with pretty much all of those folks. Yeah, I'm very intentional with it, right? I'm not just randomly telling jokes, but it's also going to resonate with my target audience too, because they're on LinkedIn and they're trying to win business and they're trying to, build their brand. But it's going to resonate with a lot of people too, because everyone's going through these sales pitches and the DMs. Everyone's going through the throwing up an article on LinkedIn and having no thought behind it, right? So there's just a ton of things that happened that we all noticed, but no one said anything about it. And I was just the first one to come out and say, let me say something about it, but let me poke a little fun at it and have some fun with it. And it's done really well.
It was viral. That was so smart, Alex. And I think we hit our time. Is there any projects in the near future, far future, you want to share it with the audience? And the last thing, what advice would Alex Sheridan give for all who's looking to elevate their brand on social media?
I'll tackle that one first. So if you're trying to build a brand on social media, you really need to reflect. I think most people just skip through it. They say, all right, start creating content. I'm gonna start getting my colors, my logo. That's fine. That's a part of it. But I would just take a step back and say, what is going to make me stand out? And what are the values that my customers are going to connect with? Right. So going back to the Apple example, they don't put out $200 computers because they know that their customers, they don't connect with that. They don't want, I want to spend more money because I believe in innovation. I believe in value. I believe in something working for a long time. I believe in quality of something, of a build like a computer or a laptop. And so their values are innovation. We think differently. We're going to do things a little bit differently, a little bit more creatively. Even our packaging is going to be more innovative than everyone else, right? It's going to cost more, but people know that. That's their brand. So think about your brand and say, what are the values that this brand stands for, the company stands for, that I stand for? And how does that connect with the audience? Is that going to resonate with them? What's the story that we're trying to tell for our customers? And really, it's part of our story too, probably. And so it's got to mean something to us. You got to think about the why behind it, right? So I would just go to that place first before you get to anything else, and really think about what are your unique differentiators? What makes you different than every other competitor in your industry? Or do they look at your LinkedIn? Do they look at your website? Do they look at how you interact, how you treat your customers, how you sell your products and services? And can they say, yeah, pretty much look like everyone else? Or do you have something that makes you stand out? That's a brand. So I would go there first. On the second thing, yes, I'm really excited about the new I got a new second company that I'm launching now. That's helping. That's helping. So Impacts Marketing is the marketing company. And then I've got this other business now that I'm launching that's helping business owners, small business owners, founders, entrepreneurs, mostly of newer companies with 5 years or less, or that just haven't made it to six figures yet, that haven't generated 10K a month in income. And I'm helping them get there as realistically as fast as possible, right? It's a process and you got to work it and you have to put in the work, of course, but I'm helping them, giving them frameworks, giving them a community to be a part of, so they don't feel like they're doing it alone, with proven people that have done it before, like myself. And so that's something that I'm really passionate about.
Amazing. I wish you all the luck, and
thank you.
I'm so excited for the 8th episode of Stand Up Comedy.
It's coming soon.
And I was expecting the robot to show up.
The robot?
Yeah.
Yeah, not today.
Alex, on a personal level, which character is you feel yourself more out there from the three? Is it the instructor, or is it the victim?
I don't.
Which one is Alex?
I've been asked that before, and I've done so many different characters. I think probably it's got to be close to 100 different characters by now. I don't really identify with any of them. I mean, certainly there's certain elements that I do that I'm like, there's a little bit of me coming out here, especially when it's like the message, like anytime there's the message that's coming out where I'm like really speaking to the audience and getting them and teaching them something or motivate them something, that's where I come in. But certainly the characters and that kind of stuff, it's just it's either things that I've seen or it's small pieces of me, right? So it's not like I don't like see one character and like, that's really who I am. I'm really this person now. This is Alex B. Sheridan. This is who I am. ABS is the content creator, the entertainer, and that kind of stuff. So
I'm so proud you are with us today, and thank you for your time. It means the world for me, and definitely everybody out there get something today very valuable. Alex, from all what we talked, I want to say that you are a very smart person, and I can see there's no limits with what you do. So wishing you all the best, Alex. And I think I'm going to be one of your clients soon.
Let's talk. I'd love to talk about it. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on the show, though. I had a great time. I appreciate it.
Stay safe and enjoy your weekend.
You too, brother. Take care.
Thank you. This was Alex Sheridan, the amazing person. He helps you to unleash the creativity and to build your own brand. Alex, he invented a lot of strategies, and he has a proven strategy to help you win clients. Thank you, Alex, for being with us today. And as usual, today's takeaway is, if it matters to you, you will find a way. Thank you, everyone, for joining this live session. It was epic. Thank you, Alex Sheridan. And hopefully we're going to see you in the future. This was Nidal Haikal. Stay safe, everybody.